Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a book I think almost everyone has read, but maybe not in its full complexity. Ray Bradbury's 1953 masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451.
It's one of those foundational texts for sure.
Absolutely. And our sources today, literary criticism, historical analyses, they really force us to look past the obvious, the government tyranny angle and dig into something a bit more chilling.
The idea of a society that basically chooses its own downfall.
Exactly. The premise is, of course, iconic. We meet Guy Montag, he's a fireman, but his job is to start fires, not put them out.
Right, he burns outlawed books.
And it kicks off with that famous, terrifying line, "It was a pleasure to burn."
For decades, that was sort of the whole story. The reading was that this is a critique of state censorship.
And you can see why, right? It was published right in the middle of the McCarthy era.
Yeah.
Blacklisting, political scrutiny, it just fits.
It fits perfectly, but here's the aha moment.
Yeah.
The thing that completely recalibrates how you should read the book.
Okay.
Bradbury himself pushed back on that reading. Hard.
Wait, really? The author argued against the universal high school English class interpretation of his own work.
He did. He insisted the novel was not primarily about top-down government oppression.
So what was it about, then?
For him, it was about a culture collapsing from the inside, a kind of societal suicide. He said it was about people being turned into morons by TV, losing interest in thinking, and then demanding that books be banned just so they don't have to feel uncomfortable.
Wow, that completely flips the script. The villain isn't the government, it's us, the passive citizen.
Precisely. Bradbury was adamant. You don't need some big bad regime to kill a culture. You just need people to stop reading and start entertaining themselves to death.
And that whole self-destruction, it's all shown through the book's most powerful symbol, fire.
Which is deeply contradictory.
Right. So the mission of this deep dive is to unpack the two very different faces of fire that Bradbury shows us and what they tell us about our own relationship with knowledge. Okay, let's unpack this.
We have to start with fire's symbolism. Bradbury gives us two completely opposite kinds of flame.
The first one is the title itself, right? 451 degrees Fahrenheit.
The temperature at which Bic paper catches fire. This is fire as apocalyptic destruction.
And you have to remember the context. This is just 8 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So when Montag is holding that great python spitting its venomous kerosene, that has a whole different weight.
It absolutely taps into that post-war anxiety about technology and our capacity for, total brutality, reducing history to charcoal ruins.
Critics have called it the Nero complex, this dark desire to just watch the world burn.
And you see that in Montag at the start. He enjoys it. But the real philosopher of this destruction is his boss, Captain Beatty.
Right, he's the intellectual of the firehouse, which is so ironic.
And so frightening. Beatty sees fire as a kind of relief, a solution. He says its real beauty is that it destroys responsibility and consequences.
Yeah, he calls it antibiotic, aesthetic, practical. Like it's the ultimate easy fix. You have a complex problem, burn it, and you're clean.
It's what the sociologist Erich Fromm called a response to unlived life. If you feel powerless and stuck, well, the impulse to just smash everything can feel pretty powerful.
Burning books is burning away the complexity you just can't handle.
Exactly.
But then Montag, he starts to recoil from that heat. His whole enlightenment is about moving away from that fire.
That's right. He has this realization that the sun is already burning time every single day.
So he needs to stop burning things on the ground.
He needs to start conserving to balance out all the consuming. He needs to be an asbestos weaver, someone who protects things from the flame.
And his physical journey totally mirrors that. He leaves the hot, loud city for the cool, quiet countryside.
And that's where he finds Granger's group, and he sees a fire that is just profoundly different.
He says it was strange because it meant a different thing to him.
It wasn't kerosene. It wasn't about hate. It was warming. It was generative. It gave back as much as it took. It's the fire meant to keep the flame of man's wisdom and creativity alive.
So you have this paradox, the fearful symmetry that Blake wrote about. Humanity can be this incredible creative force.
And an utterly destructive one. Montag is trying to find that good fire.
Which brings us to where the destruction actually began, not in the firehouse, but inside the comfortable, quiet homes of distracted people.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Because Bradbury's big critique is about how technology creates this alienation, this information overload that makes a society just erase its own past.
And you have to look at the 1950s. People were worried about the rise of the organization man. This idea that individuality was being replaced by corporate collectivism.
Fitting in was the most important thing. Don't rock the boat.
And Montag is looking for the opposite. He wants a definition and a preservation of the identity of humankind.
But that identity was already being washed away by what our sources call the televisual archive.
That's such a key phrase, the written cultural archive books. You take them into a private space, you reflect, you argue with them in your head.
But TV, at least how Bradbury saw it, was immediate. It was shallow. It just happens to you.
And Faber, the old professor, he nails it. He says the screens tell you what to think and blasts it in. There's no time to protest or think critically.
No character shows this better than Montag's wife, Mildred.
Oh, Mildred is the absolute core of this idea. She's trapped in what one critic called a comfortable concentration camp.
Addicted to her four-wall televisors. And we should remember, those were a huge status symbol, like $2,000 a wall back then, an insane amount of money.
Her mind is just colonized. She's never alone. She's got the seashell radio in her ear constantly.
Her whole body is synchronized with the TV. Bradbury says her movements match the fireworks sizzling and bursting on the screen.
She's a puppet of the media feed.
Which sounds alarmingly familiar. You know, our modern attention economy, and we just have smaller screens.
It's the same mechanism. And the most heartbreaking result of this is the erasure of her own history.
Right. Montag asks her where they met, a basic fundamental memory.
And she has no idea.
And she doesn't even care. She just says, it's been so long.
The info stream from the walls has completely replaced their actual lived past. They've swapped memory for programming.
And this intellectual vacuum, this is what leads directly to the book banning.
Yes, this how you get there.
And again, Captain Beatty lays out the roadmap. He makes it crystal clear the government didn't start this.
Not at all. He says books started getting burned because they offended people. Any people. Every people.
He lists them off, doesn't he? Dog lovers, Unitarians, Texans.
Any group that complained. The goal was to minimize controversy, to maximize comfort, and market size.
The scary part isn't political disagreement, it's disagreement itself. Beatty's whole philosophy is, we must all be alike to be happy.
And if every book offends someone,
then the only path to total happiness is to burn them all.
Which leads right into an attack on critical thought. Beatty says intellectual became a swear word.
And the bright boy in class, the one who asked why, was persecuted.
Right. He was singled out for beatings and tortures after hours. You have to stamp out independent thought at the root.
And Beatty's method for that is so insightful. He says, hide the nails in wood. Don't give people the tools or the time to build their own ideas.
Instead, you cram them full of non-combustible data. Just facts. So many facts, they feel stuffed.
It gives them a sense of motion without moving.
Perfect phrase. You feel smart because you can recite things, but you can't connect anything. You can't ask why.
Which is what happened to Clarice, the girl who always asked why.
Her fate shows that total disregard for the humanities. Her observation about driving fast is brilliant too.
Oh yeah, that at high speeds, you don't see things, you just see blurs. A green blur is grass, a brown blur is a cow.
It's a perfect parallel for what one critic called naive reading. Just seeing the surface.
Like the people who wanted to ban The Catcher in the Rye because of the language, and totally missed Salinger's actual critique of hypocrisy.
You miss all the nuance. And that leads to this danger of sanitization.
Which happens all the time. Changing words in Huck Finn, or, and this is just perfectly ironic, an edited version of Fahrenheit 451 changed a drunk man to a sick man.
Bradbury was furious about that. He called those expurgated stories starved, blue-penciled, leached, and bled white.
You're removing the very things that sharpen what the novelist Toni Morrison called our moral imagination.
And this brings us right to today. Our sources are pretty clear that the recent explosion in book bans had a specific trigger.
Which was?
A lot of the anger and frustration from the COVID-19 lockdowns, that energy was harnessed and redirected at schools and libraries.
Focused on materials that challenged certain values, often around race or gender identity.
And what's really terrifying is how coordinated it is. It's not just spontaneous outrage.
I saw that study. A Washington Post report found that just 11 people were responsible for 60% of all book challenges in the U.S.
11 people.
For 60%, it's targeted, it's organized. Just like Beatty's persecution of the bright boy.
And the results are real. Librarians, teachers, they're facing harassment, doxing, even death threats.
Just for doing their job, for curating knowledge.
The need to avoid offense is now actively persecuting intellectuals. It's Beatty's world.
So when Montag finally rebels and runs, the state has to use the media to control the story.
Of course. The chase with the mechanical hound becomes a live, one-man carnival.
The ultimate reality show.
And everyone is commanded to watch. Don't go outside, don't look out your window, watch the screen. It's a mediated experience. It's entertainment qua punishment.
And the state has to win. The narrative of infallibility is everything.
So when Montag actually gets away, they can't show that. The mechanical hound never fails.
So they just grab another guy.
Yeah.
An innocent man.
And they execute him on live TV, sacrificing reality to provide a neat, tidy, terrifying ending for the viewers at home.
Meanwhile, the real Montag finds the living libraries.
These self-exiled scholars who have memorized entire books.
They don't just carry the books, they become the books. They internalize the knowledge so fire can't touch it.
Exactly. Granger says their job is just to keep the flame of man's wisdom and creativity alive, like a small, gentle light in the dark.
And the novel ends with a kind of renewal, but only after total destruction.
The city is obliterated in a nuclear attack, the ultimate destructive fire.
And Montag, whose name even suggests a new start Monday, is with them.
It's a moment of modified optimism. They decide to say the passage from the Book of Revelation for when they return to the city.
And on either side of the river was there a tree of life, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
That image of light, of healing. It's the permanent hope that stands against the temporary destructive fire.
So if we pull all this together, the two fires, the self-censorship, the spectacle, what's the big takeaway for us now?
I mean, the book is ultimately asking if knowledge and technology are good or bad. Are they constructive or destructive?
And the answer is, it depends.
It depends entirely on how we choose to use them. The tool itself is neutral.
But there's that tension, right? Granger compares humanity to a phoenix, always being reborn from its own ashes.
Which sounds hopeful.
But the phoenix is also the symbol on the firemen's uniforms, the destroyers.
And that's the final, lingering question. It suggests that this impulse for self-destruction, for burning it all down and starting over, might always be there. Can we ever really transcend that cycle? Or are we, as one critic put it, doomed because we can hardly escape from ourselves?
And I suppose that challenge really falls to you, the listener, the reader. Books, as Bradbury said, are the fruit of a library.
The only way to keep that flame of wisdom alive is to use it, to exercise your right to read.
Go beyond what's comfortable. Check out a book that challenges you from your local library. Maybe even, check out a banned one and join the real coalition against that destructive fire.